In this lesson, let's explore C function arguments and return values. We'll focus on how to pass data into functions and receive data back from them. Understanding these concepts is crucial for writing modular and reusable code. Let's begin by discussing how to pass arguments to functions. In C, arguments are passed by value by default. This means that when you pass a variable to a function, the function receives a copy of the original value. Any changes made to the parameter inside the function do not affect the original variable. Consider an example where we have a function called double value that takes an integer x as an argument. Inside the function, x is multiplied by 2, and the new value is printed. However, in the main function, when double value is called with the variable number, which is initialized to 5, the original value of number remains unchanged. The output will show that inside the function, x is doubled, but outside the function, number is still 5. Now let's explore how to modify original values using pass by reference with pointers. To modify the original values of variables, we can pass pointers to the function. In this case, the function receives the memory address of the original variable. To access and modify the original value, we use the dereference operator, which is the asterisk symbol. Examine this example. The function double value now takes a pointer to an integer as an argument. Inside the function, the value at the memory address pointed to by ptr is doubled. In the main function, when calling double value, we pass the address of number using the ampersand symbol. This allows the function to modify the original value of number. As a result, the output will show that inside the function the value is doubled, and outside the function, number is also updated to 10. Next, let's delve into functions with multiple arguments. Functions can accept multiple arguments of different types. When defining a function with multiple parameters, you separate each parameter with a comma, and each parameter has its own type declaration. When calling the function, the order of the arguments matters. Look at this example. The function calculateArea takes two float arguments, length and width, and returns their product as a float. In the main function, we declare float variables L and W and initialize them with values. We then call calculateArea with L and W as arguments and assign the result to the area variable. Finally, we print the calculated area. Now let's discuss return values in functions. Functions can return one value using the return statement. The return type must match the function's declared type. If a function doesn't return a value, you use the void type. Function execution stops immediately after a return statement. Consider this example. The function findMax takes two integer arguments, a and b, and returns the larger of the two. Inside the function, it checks if a is greater than b. If it is, it returns a, otherwise it returns b. In the main function, we call findMax with 15 and 10 as arguments and assign the result to the result variable. Finally, we print the maximum value, which is 15. Finally, let's explore strategies for returning multiple values from a function. Since a function can only directly return one value, there are several ways to effectively return multiple values. You can use pointer parameters to modify multiple values directly. You can also return a struct containing multiple values. Returning multiple values using global variables is generally not recommended due to potential side effects. You can also use arrays to return multiple values of the same type. Consider this example. The function calculateStats takes an integer array, its size, a pointer to an integer for the sum, and a pointer to a float for the average. Inside the function, it calculates the sum of the array elements and then computes the average. The sum and average are stored in the memory locations pointed to by the sum and average pointers, respectively. Key takeaways from this lesson are that C functions primarily use pass by value, where a copy of the data is sent to the function. Pass by reference uses pointers to allow functions to modify the original data. Functions can return one value directly, And to return multiple values, you can use pointers or structs. If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.